Hello, Annalise, are you there?
Hello, teacher. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yes, fine. Thank you. And you?
That's great. Everything is fine. Thanks for asking. So, Annalise, I'm going to share right now the link again with your partners. Perhaps they're having some problems joining. And as soon as I finish sharing this link, we're going to start with the class. All right?
Okay.
Great. So it's going to take just some seconds. Where's the group? There it is. All right. Okay. So they might read it in a few seconds. Now let's begin the class with you, Annalise. You know that today we're going to learn two things. The main thing is related to how you are going to organize your presentations for next week, right? As I told you, we're going to follow these different, let's say, strategy because we're going to be applying the TOEFL structure. All right. In the TOEFL, you have a very specific way in which you have to answer in the speaking section. And of course, according to the task, right, it's a different way. We're going to be following one of those tasks, which is going to be like the main let's say, line that we're going to follow in terms of how the introduction is going to be right structured, the development body, and the conclusion. All right, there are very specific things that all of you have to do this time. So that's the thing that is going to be evaluated on the next week's presentation. So I'm going to begin by showing you first certain rules related to pronunciation before starting with the structure itself. Let me join my screen. So in my screen, you see that this is going to be part of today's presentation. The first thing, of course, we have to still work on pronunciation rules. It doesn't matter which level we are in, right? There are always some words that we have to still work on. And we're going to learn very basic but important rules that you have to apply. And this is also going to be evaluated in this presentation. All right, the next presentation. So four things, well, two main things, pronunciation and let's say the structure of the essay. But the structure of the essay is going to be divided in three parts, of course, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Everything related to the presentation, sorry. So let's begin. We may know certain rules, or perhaps we sometimes learn English without knowing certain rules. And that's okay. That's the way we're supposed to learn. But now that we are in advanced courses, it's important that you at least know, right, some of these rules and you can explain why you are pronouncing a word in a certain way. So this is the first part of the presentation. Let me hide this. And there you go. So it's how Y is pronounced in an English word. Again, this is basic rules, but it's important that you can remember all these details. So Annalise, let's read please the first part and the first point of this explanation.
Okay. Why is pronounced either as a I or I?
Mhm.
One. In a one-syllable word, Y is pronounced as A.
Exactly. And what are the examples, Annalise, if you can read it? My, by.
My, by, fly, shy, try, cry, fry, sky.
Thank you very much. That's correct. As you can see, you have many words that have this Y at the end. So when it's a one syllable word, all of those are one syllable words, right? The ones as I, right? My, by, etc., etc. What about the second point, please, Viviana?
Hi, teacher. In a two-syllable word, Y is pronounced as I. Party, puppy, candy, bunny, funny, pony, turkey, happy, cherry, teeny, penny, city, baby.
Thank you very much.
Tiny,
Oh, thank you
sorry.
also. Exactly, right? Tiny. All right. So thank you both, right? Annalise and Viviana. These are then the 2 points that you need to know. And again, you know this, but perhaps now you know the explanation. One word is like I, right? My, vi, fly. Two words, or sorry, two syllable, it would be like only E, right? Party, puppy, candy, bunny, etc., etc., right? So that's the simple thing that I'm going to be evaluating also in your presentations, as I mentioned before. Not hard. Most of you do this automatically, so you don't need to work anything. Just remember that this is a rule and try to apply it in future words that you're going to be learning. All right? Now, the second part, how C is pronounced in an English word. The same, please. Let's start with you, Annelise. The first part and the first point, please.
Okay. C is pronounced either as S or K, city, country, cider, circle.
Mhm. Very well. The first point also, please, Annelise.
Okay, 1. When C is followed by E or Y, it is pronounced S. Scent, sail, sailor, center, ice, cycle, cyclone, cypress.
Thank you very much. So again, you also do this without perhaps knowing the explanation. But again, it's important to understand why this time. So C, when it's followed by one of those, let's say, some people consider Y as a vowel, all right? Others as a consonant. Of course, most of the times it is used as a vowel. So you can consider that a vowel as well. But any of these vowels, the E or Y, right? So easy. You have CE, then sent. CE, sent, or sell this time. CE, seller, right? CY, in the three that you have down below, it's going to be cycle, right? Cyclone and cypress, as Annelise mentioned. Let's go to the second point, please, Viviana.
When C is followed by OUA, it is pronounced as K. Country, cold, cup, cat, curb, can, cat, cup, couple, computer. The city has that also. The city has cement. The country has corn. We cycle in the city and drive our car in the country.
Thank you very much. Yes, as you can see, again, you have this time three different vowels, which are O, U, and A. And after those vowels, you are going to pronounce this C as like K, right? Like the K sound. So country, right? Cold, cap, and so on and so forth. Viviana read that. And also the examples, as you can see the difference. You have two words with C, right? City and cement. This time it's going to be only as like S. Then you have two with C again, but with O. So it's going to be like country and corn. And in the last part, you are mixing both, right? You have cycle and city, but you also have car and you have country. Okay, so you know that the C in English, again, has two different ways of being pronounced. All right, let's continue. This is only for you to know these things because after this, we're going to see the presentation that is the most important one. And I hope that until that time, almost all of you are going to be online. So let's go to the next part. This time is the G sound, right? How G is pronounced. And be careful with this. This can be more useful because there are many new words with G and you're going to see when to pronounce it that way or the other way. Because again, you have two ways of pronouncing the G. Let's start this one this time, please, with you, Valentina. Read the first point. When G,
When G is followed by a E, I, or how that was
it
Y,
is Y. Great.
it's pronounced as gem, giant, gym, church. I don't know if
All
it's
right.
okay.
No, it's okay, Valentina. Sorry, you sent your presentation, right? We're going to work on that right now also.
Yes, please. Teacher, I am with the computer of my job. I don't have a presentation here. I had in my cell phone.
Don't worry, I received also your presentation in WhatsApp, right? So I'm going to show it for you. We're going to finish
Thank you,
this very quickly and we're going to go with you, all right?
thank you.
You're welcome. So then there you go. After, when they are followed by those vowels, again, it's going to be like the G, right? Gem, giant, Jim, George. But there's a second case. Annalise, let's go with the second point with you, please.
Okay, 2. When G is followed by U or A, it is pronounced as or as a or I. Gum,
Okay.
gap, gas, garden, gorgeous, George,
Go ahead. Yes, the next one also, please, Annalise, sorry.
the wagon, danger, strangle, stranger.
All right, thank you very much. So you have this second sound, right? What's the difference? This is like G, right? Because it's gem, but the other one is gum, all right? It's G and G. So you have gem, giant, and you have gum, gun, gap, right? Gas, and garden. And of course, those examples to help you practice that difference in this with this consonant. All right. You know that everything is available on the folder. So if you want to be more precise with this and keep practicing, go there. Here is mainly to show you the differences. Now we have this pronunciation of vowel letters. This can be very useful. All right. Again, this is very basic, but when you learn new words, that is the thing you're doing, right? Because you're working with new vocabulary. So that you're learning new words, it's important that you know when to pronounce these as, for example, in the case of vowels, vowels have the long version and the short version of the vowel. The long version is going to be like the English sound, and the short version is going to be like the Spanish sound. Okay, let's understand that with the examples that we're going to read. So, Andrea, please, let's read the first point this time with you, and only some examples.
Okay. At, cat, bat, hat, rat, fat, and sat. At, sat, hat, bat, mat. Ag, back, whack, crack, tack.
Okay, now let's read the explanation down below, please. If E,
Okay, if E is at the end of the word, A is pronounced as a long vowel.
Hello,
Gate,
Jose. Good afternoon.
take, rake, base, raise, face, wave, cage.
thank you very much, Andrea. Good afternoon, Jaime. Hello. So we are with these words, all right? So you have this idea. This is the first case. You're going to pronounce the long vowel, right? When if it's at the end, it's going to change, right? But when you don't have a different vowel, it's going to be like the long one. So this, for example, over here, you have this part. Let me look for some similar words. For example, any of these, right? Cat. That's going to be like cat, right? Cat. Like that. That's like the short vowel. Okay, like cat, cat. But the long one is when you have an e at the end, right? Like gate, take, rake, right? Base, raise, face. That's a. But this one is the a, a. All right. So try to follow that idea again. This is going to be useful when you're learning new words, as I mentioned. All right. So this is cap, but this is cape, right? So let's pay attention to those differences. Let's go to the next part. And let's read this one, please, this time, Jaime. Let's read the explanation, long, some examples, just the 2 lines, and the explanation down below, please.
Okay, Jose. Pronunciation of vowel letters. 2. Long I, and short I. It, lit, kit, bit, eek, pick, rick, big, dick, wick, ing, ping, ting, bing, fing, wing.
Great. Now the explanation down below, please, Jaime. If E,
Sorry. If E is at the end of the word, is that an I?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the I.
Okay. I is pronounced as a long vowel. Kite, oh, kit, bike,
No, it would be,
kit, bike, wine, no, vine, ride, dime.
dime, exactly. So the first one would be kite, right?
So
So the
if
difference,
if E is at the end of the word, I is pronounced as a long vowel, right?
exactly, that's correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Perfect. Thank you very much, Jaime. So you see the difference here. For example, a kit, right? A kit, you have a kit of emergency, right? In terms of health problems. That's a kit. But a kite, who knows what a kite is? Who can tell me what's a kite? You know, right? What's a bike, vine, ride. But what is a kite?
I don't know. I
Is
never heard that word.
the thing that you can fly with the wind, like a toy?
Yes. Yes, exactly, right? It has like a very specific form, right? A very specific shape, and you have like something tied to that. You grab it, right? And you run, and that flies, right? That is a kite. Sometimes you play with that, I'm sure, right? So those are kites. To be sure, I'm going to be showing that. Let me change the position of this thing over here. But the thing and the most important part here is that you can understand the difference and this logic, all right? You know that, of course, the pronunciation of the vowels is going to change according to certain rules, as for example, these ones. Again, even though these are simple and basic rules, it's important that now that you are in these advanced courses, right? And this is the last one, you are kind of aware of these differences and you know when to pronounce this in a certain way or the other way. All right. We're going to go to the next part again, but I just want to show you that in a picture so that we can be sure that we all understand what kite is. All right, give me 1 second. And there you go. All right, I'm sharing my screen right now. These are kites. All right, those things that you can grab, right? They are tied and you're grabbing that with your hand. You
Oh,
can
it's
run.
cometa.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's the difference between the kit, right? An emergency kit. But when you go and play with a kite, well, in the park or wherever you want. Okay, great. So let's go back and we're going to continue with these rules before starting with Valentina's presentation and then going to Andrea's one. And let me continue sharing. There you go. So that was the last one. We're going now to the next vowel, which is O. Similar, very short, please this time, Maria Elena, if you are there, you're going to read the third, right, point. Only two, let's say, lines of these examples, and then the explanation down below, please, Maria Elena. Go ahead.
Okay, teacher. Lawn, O and short O.
Yes.
Oak, dog, log, bug, duck, hawk. Up, pop, hope, top, and mop. If E is the end of the word, O is pronounced as long vowel. Road, hope, hole. Road,
Thank you very much.
okay.
So you have this difference, right? This one is a little bit more subtle, all right? It's a very subtle difference because it's the difference between O and O, right? O and O. For example, this word, hop, right? Hop and hope, right? Hope. Then you have the same with other words, right? Rose, pole, but this one is going to be job, right? It's not job, it's job. Very simple. Check again those differences and try to practice. That's going to help you improve your pronunciation with certain words. Let's go to the next one. This is with you. Let's go with Viviana. Yes, you didn't participate in last time. Let's read the same. This part, the two lines. It can be the first line over here, only the first line, and the explanation down below, please.
Okay. Long U and short U. At, not, cut, hat, wrap, at, up, cup, put, cup, poop. Up, cup, tube, cube, no, sorry. Cup, tube.
All right.
If E is at the end of the word, O is pronounced as a long vowel. Tune, cube, cute.
Cute, exactly. So there's a mistake there, right? Instead of that O is supposed to be like EU, right? So it's like not, cat, hat, wrap, right? Up, cup, and this is tune, cube, cute, right? Is the and the U sound. Again, as you can see, this is easy to remember because it follows the same rule. Basically, all right, when I was having a conversation with this teacher who was from England, and you know that they are even more into these rules, she told me that it's not perhaps only E, it's also when you have different vowels after that U that the pronunciation is going to change. But of course, that's going to also vary in terms of what, if you are with American pronunciation, right, or the British pronunciation. So that's why we're going to stick with these kind of rules, all right? This is more related to American rules. So let's try to stick with this. And then, of course, if you want to improve and you want to, let's say, expand your knowledge in terms of other rules related to other accents, you can take a look at those rules as well. And again, my advice would be go to the Cambridge webpage, go to Oxford webpage, and you're going to have many different rules over there to check that. And with me, we have time, of course not today, perhaps it could be next Wednesday, we can take a look at those other rules with different accents. All right. Now we have this rule that is different. We finished with the consonants and the vowels. Very easy, as you were able to see. Now you have the double consonant rule. This applies also to American accent, British accent. Of course, as always, you have exceptions. So don't expect that this is going to be applied for 100% of the words. In English, it's always the 80% rule. Everything is always 80%. There is always a 20% exception of that. All right, let's take that into account again. So let's go and let's continue with this part, please. Annelise, double consonant. Let's read everything, please.
When you have double consonant, use the short vowel. Write, written, hide, hidden, address, syllable, happy.
Thank you very much. Here in the two first words, you can notice the difference, right? Write, one T, I, written, double T, right? E. So this is long vowel, this is short vowel. The same here. You have hide, right? And you have hidden. All right, and you have hidden. And here, of course, because of this double D, double L, double P, you have address, not address, right? Address. You have syllable, no syllable, right? Syllable. And you have happy, no happy, right? Happy. Those are the explanations, all right? Of course, again, I said this before, you know this by experience, right? In a very empirical way, but here is to understand that better. Now, some other words related to stress, but before going to this part, because I want you to pay special attention to this, okay, because we're getting into more like advanced rules that you're going to be using even more than the previous rules. Before that, we're going to work on the two presentations that we have left. Remember, please, the ones who were not asking some questions, you can do it today. All right, try to do it today. You can earn some extra points. Some of you have your grades already, right, your scores, but try to participate so that your partners are going to have the chance to answer. And of course, you can also increase a little bit more your score. All right. So let's start with you, please, Valentina. I'm going to start sharing your presentation right now. Tell me if you're ready to begin.
Yes, teacher, I'm ready.
Perfect. So let me share this. So this is something I'm asking, okay, especially to the ones who already worked on Monday. So Annelise, Viviana, Jaime, Maria Elena, try to pay special attention to these presentations and try to have at least one question for your partners. Now, let me share my screen again. Valentina, give me a second. All right. Now it's over here. Are you going to control the time, Valentina? I'm going to use my cell phone. It's important that you can
Okay.
also control your time. And know that you can stop, right? 10 minutes, 10 minutes and 10, 20 seconds is the ideal, or 9 minutes and 50 seconds, perhaps like the medium. Let me put that. And there you go. It must be good.
Okay, reading for pleasure. That's the topic that I'm going to talk about. I choose this topic because I love to read, but for me it was a little bit difficult to have that habit, especially when I am traveling or I am on vacation. But with this quarantine, I learned how to have a reading habit. So if we can pass to the other diapositive, please. Okay. There is no friend as loyal as a book, said American author Ernest Hemingway. Books fire up your imagination, provides solace in times of grief, and open up your world. Especially with this quarantine, when you are reading a book, you don't feel alone. You can imagine another world. It depends of the book that you are reading. For example, I love to read romantic books like novels. So in some books, I am a princess. In other books, I am the mean girl. So for me, was um like a something like a therapy, especially in this quarantine. The books and the importance of reading habit is intrinsically linked to professional success, as it opens up the mind to new experience and provides new avenues of knowledge. When you are studying, for example, I am studying international relations, I have to read a lot of the some histories of not only Bolivia, but also, for example, um, countries like Chile, Paraguay, Brazil, that are near to our country. And this helps me not only to know the relations that Bolivia has, economics or politics relations, and why we don't have some relations with other countries. And you can, in a dinner or in a brunch with some friends, you can explain some ideas that you got by reading a book, and that's help a lot. Or you can learn about some topics that you don't know that another person learned with a book. Reading can make you a better writer and speaker. Reading skills can take you a step ahead and help you achieve your objectives by customizing the way you read. If you choose the appropriate reading skill, it will enhance the reading process and help you achieve your goal. And when you are learning a new language, it's important to read some books, for example, in English, and you can have more vocabulary. Maybe you don't know the exactly word how to pronounce, but you are reading and you have more vocabulary and then you are practicing. So can you, thank you. Reading has a significant number of benefits, and here are 10 benefits of reading to get you to start reading. And we can pass. The first benefit of reading is the mental stimulation. Studies have shown that staying mentally stimulated can slow the process of Alzheimer and dementia, or even prevent that illness, sorry. Science keeping your brain active and engaged prevent it from losing power. If you are reading, your mind is working, so you have to remember some specific tips of the book, or for example characters or some moments, so your mind is working, is memorizing some things, and that show that you can prevent some illness like Alzheimer or dementia. Stress reduction. No matter how much stress you have at work, in your personal relationships, or countless other issues faced in daily life, it all just slips away when you lose yourself in a great story. A well-written novel can transport you to other realms, while engaging article will distract you and keep you in the present moment, letting tension strain away and allowing to relax. That's what I was talking about before. That if you choose the perfect book for you, for example, you like some mystery novel and you get involved in that history, all the stress of your day, all the stress of your quarantine can keep away, and you will get distracted. Can we pass the other, please? Knowledge. Everything you read fills your head with new bits of information, and you never know when it might come in handy. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to tackle any challenge you will ever face. My grandfather taught me some reading habits when I was a child. For example, one of the first book that I read, not when I was a child, when I was a teenager, like I was like 13 or 14 years old. I read Mi Lucha from Hitler, and I don't understood anything of that book, but I read it. And then I read some other books of history and politics, novels, and when I asked my grandfather why I have to read books of politics, of history, because I prefer novels, my grandfather told me that the person that knows everything, and not everything, a small of every topics that are in the world, are the person that more knows. Because if you know everything of only one topic, you don't know anything. And when you read books of different topics, you can know a small pieces of every topic. And in an interview, in a business interview, you can talk about um, from Hitler to a novel from Isabel Allende. So that's amazing, and you can click with your boss for a different from a different topic. Vocabulary expansion. This goes with the above topic. The more you read, the more words you gain exposure to, and they will inevitably make their way into your everyday vocabulary. You can have more vocabulary, not only words that I don't know the word in English, but it's rebuscadas. but also some synonyms of a specific word that when you are talking about in your job, you can look more intelligent. So that's good way to get a job. The next, please, teacher. Memory improvement. When you read a book, you have to remember an assortment of characters, their backgrounds, ambition, and history. That's a fair bit to remember, but brains are marvelous things and can remember these things with relative ease. That was related with the first benefit that you can prevent dementia because you are improving your memory um, because you need to remember some characters, the history of a character at the beginning of the book to relate it to the end. Stronger analytical thinking skills. Have you ever read an amazing mystery novel and solved the mystery yourself before finishing the book? If so, you were able to put critical and analytical thinking to work by taking note of all the details provided and sorting them out to determine who done it. That's you can Rosquilla, you can have more analytical skills by reading some mystery books because you need to think more about what's going to happen next. And so improves and focus concentration because when you are reading, you need to be concentrated with your book and you need to turn off the TV, turn off your cell phone because with that you can be more involved in the history. And better writing skill, this is related with the vocabulary because when you know more vocabulary, you can write a better, for example, essay. So the next, please, teacher. I am running up because I am out of the time. Tranquility. And this is in addition to to the relaxations that accompanies reading a good book. For example, you don't something, you don't have to do anything tomorrow at the morning and you want to be relaxed. You need a relaxing day. So you have a cup of coffee, a good book, and that's the best plan. For me, that's a good plan. And free entertainment because when you are reading, for example, a comic novel or a magazine, you have a free entertainment and you are learning about a specific topic. So the next, please, teacher. To acquire the habit of reading is to construct for yourself a refuge from almost all the miseries of life. That quote is from Somerset Maugham. I found this quote in the internet, but I like it. The next, please, teacher. And this is some things to help you to cultivate a better sorry, teacher. Okay. A better and consistent reading habits. That the first one is to determine your reading goal. That means that in order to create a reading habit, it's important to set in a goal, and this goal should be, for example, articulate a purpose, and you need to start thinking about which book can help you to grow in different areas for your life could be academics, your career, relationships, spiritual, etc. And when you find a book, you will be more motivated to achieve this goal. And for some, it could be a goal of reading 10 books in a year or 2 books in a month. It depends of you. And for example, and for this, a goal could be you are reading 1 book per month, and you can read 10 pages a day. So that can help you a lot. And the second is make a list of books for each month. And you need to, for example, a reading list will help you to stay organized, and you can do a list of the amazing books you want to read. You can ask for recommendations from friends or family, and this can help you to stay focused on your goal and don't get distracted. And then is a read at least a 10 to 20 pages a day, and that was what I was saying before to accomplish your goal. And set reading times and days, and you can set a specific time every day and to read your book. And with, for example, this day I'm going to read at 9 p.m. and I'm going to read at least 50 to 20 minutes, and you can turn off all the distractions in your house, or you can have a specific day that you are going to read all the day, and you are going to dedicate that hours to get to finish your book. And one more that is not there is get a reading partner or a book club. A book club is not common here in Bolivia, but a reading partner, yes. For me, is my boyfriend. We read. He reads a book per a month, and me too. And now, for example, we exchange the books. I read this book, but I lose it in the airplane, so I had to buy it a new one. That is Siete Reglas para Conseguir Lo que Desees. And he read this, that Las Máscaras del Fascismo, and we exchange. He has to read this, and I have to read this. And that's a good tip if you have a family or a friend, and this is political and this is from economics, so it's different. And I will never read this, but now I had to do it because that's the deal, and it's a good tip. So that was my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Valentina. So I'm stopping this, right? This time it was way more, right? Way more than we
sorry.
expected. All right. The good thing is that you're going to be ready for the final presentation, right? Because it's 15 minutes, so you were close to that time. I'm stopping this right now. And there you go. So let me begin very, very fast, Valentina, so that we have time also for Andrea right now. I was writing things on my cell phone because actually if you check WhatsApp, you have all the corrections or, well, the advice over there related to some things that you have to improve, right? Let me read them for you. You were looking for the word, right? Therapy, right? It was like therapy. You were talking about that at the beginning of the presentation, right? The other word is going to be like the I at the end of that word is going to be quarantine, right? The quarantine. Then instead of economic, politics reasons, right, or something like that, when you're using that as adjectives, Valentina, it's better if you say with AL at the end, like economical, political, all right, for economical, political purposes, etc., etc. Then the stress in the word of objectives, I think it was something like that that you said, but it's going to be objectives, right? Objectives in that like in the middle, objectives. Then you have two ways of saying the following, Valentina. You were saying you don't know the exactly word, but it wouldn't be like that, right? You cannot say that. It's better if you say you don't know the exact word, or you don't exactly know the word. All right, so exactly the ly is going to be always next to a verb. all right? You don't exactly know the word, or you don't know the exact word. Then let's be careful. Sometimes, yes, we were mentioning the word history. It was great, right? When you were talking about some books related to Hitler and you didn't know something about history. But in a certain way, you were using also history as story, right? But they are two different words, right? History related to facts, something that happened, right? Something that is being told, but in a very formal way. But a story is just something that you're telling to someone, can be true or not, right? Usually some novels, right? You can say the story of a novel, but you cannot say the history of that novel unless it's based on real, right? Facts, and that's going to be different. But let's be careful with the usage of that word. Then be careful in what part you said something like I don't understood, right? But it would be I didn't understand. Then the last word is going to be in terms of stress or pronunciation. Inevitably, right? Inevitably. Then you have is, right? Is the word that is like EASE, right? Is. Then you have determine, all right? Determine, the word is there. It was pronounced differently. And then you said if you have a family, right? But it would be if you have a relative who is interested in reading, right? Because we're going to use differently. Family, that is the whole group, right? And relative, that can be only one member of that group. All right. So those are going to be corrections. Again, it was really, really interesting. I'm someone who is into reading. I love reading a lot, as you were mentioning. Perhaps it is hard to get this as a habit, right? It is really hard. Sometimes even people who like to read, they don't have this habit, and they do it, I don't know, once every 2 months, every 3 months. At least here in Bolivia, we can say, and of course not only in Bolivia, right? Many other countries, even in the US, not everybody reads a lot. But they have perhaps a culture that is more like into reading that we have here, right? Here it's very hard to find someone who really loves and enjoys, right, reading and has this partners, as you were saying, right, who are going to share. We have groups here, of course, and we have people who are interested in reading, but we cannot say that is the majority. It's not also a sin, right? If you don't like to read, that's not a sin. It's okay. Nowadays, we have different ways of learning with videos, right? Even with some audiobooks. So there are different ways. There are other means of acquire this information. But it's important, of course, reading gives you something unique, as you were mentioning, those benefits, Valentina. And I like the way that you introduced all this information. All right. And I also like even more the way you were talking about your experiences and the way you relate with reading. That's the thing I can appreciate even more. I don't know if you have any final questions or comments, Valentina. And in the meantime, please, very shortly and briefly, if Annelise, Viviana, Jaime, Maria Elena, if you have any questions, just one question, please, you can ask my question to Valentina. Anybody? Come on, don't be shy. Any question related to reading, perhaps to comment a little bit about this and ask a question, like a personal question related to this topic as well? What do you say? Just one question, and at least two questions from your part, please.
Hi. You have mentioned, Valentina, that before you don't, you didn't have this habit. What of all these tips? Which of all these tips is more helpful for you? Was more helpful for you?
Well, the more helpful for me was to determine my reading goal, because I like to accomplish every goal that I determine in my life. So when I start with 3 books per year, but at the end I was reading like more books, not only 3 or 5. And that helped me a lot. But it's different. For some people, it's more helpful to read at least a 10 page a day. So it's depend of the person.
All right, thank you very much.
Great.
One more
Thank you.
question, please.
Yeah.
Thank
Please,
you,
I would
Vivian.
like to ask her what's one of his or her favorite book.
Hija de la Fortuna from Isabel Allende. It's a romantic novel that has a lot of drama. It's like a novela. So I really like it. I really, really like it.
All right. Thank you very much, all right, for participating and also for answering back, Valentina. As you know, tomorrow we have the conversation with you. I already showed the scores to your partners, so you and Andrea are the only ones missing. Tomorrow in the conversation, I'm going to show you the scores you got. Again, it was something that I liked a lot. Just work on those little things because remember, next week we have a different presentation and I'm going to be taking into account of the words that I sent you to your WhatsApp. All right. And remember to all of you, Annelise, Viviana, I also made some corrections, right? And some advice, right, to improve. So take that into account because I'm also going to be evaluating that next week for the next presentation. So thank you very much again, Valentina. And we're going to continue with you, please, Andrea.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Can you see it?
Yes, yes, Andrea.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna talk some about some products or services that are focused on environmental sustainability that are being developed in Bolivia. Eh, for example, there is this company called Mammoth. Mammoth works in the construction of sustainable cities, promoting responsible production and consumption. Its product line use garbage from other industry, rubber from disused tires, rubber from vehicle spare parts, waste from rubber craftsmen, retrading machines, among others, as key inputs to manufacture rubber floors for playgrounds, urban calisthenics, parks, athletic tracks, road buffer, and sport courts. So this company also won awards, I think, internationally awards for innovation ideas, as the main topic is, for environmental sustainability because it uses waste that can be that have no longer a use and make it to a new product. Other innovation idea that is that is helping the environment is the quantum motors. Industrias Quantum Motors is a pioneering Bolivian company in the manufacture and marketing of electric vehicles like cars, motorcycles, tricycles, bicycles, skateboards, and others in order to improve urban mobility systems and take care of the environment. So these cars, like the electrical cars, I think that were developed in the last 2 years or the last year, and is like a good option for moving around the city. I think that the cost is minimum, it's not expensive, and it can go to 40 kilometers per hour. So it's a good option, and also it's moving on to the future and not using fuel like principal energy. Another company is Ingoki, a company dedicated to the manufacture of rubber articles and recycled rubber supplies from the processing of the disused tires. So it's similar to the first one, but they that reuse the rubber, the waste of other rubber, the rest of rubber. Another company is Encarte. Encarte, this company manufactured a highly resistant furniture and accessories from 100 reused cardboard. So they make like these little furnitures, like they are not like for a home, but they can be used in kindergartens or schools for toys for children, and they recycle the cardboard. Another company is Mechatronica. Mechatronica, it's about recovering the mercury, mercury vapor monitoring, transportation of fluorescent tubes, and other containing mercury. I think that this is one of the companies that I like the most because there are not a lot of them, and a lot of the fluorescent tubes that we use in offices or industry contain mercury and not always are treated the way they have to be because the mercury is bad for your health, is bad for the exposure to people. So this company is dedicated to recover that mercury and do it the correct treatment. So I think that is a good idea and what we all should do. Another is Termoplásticos Andrade. This company is dedicated to the recycling of plastic for raw material of LDPE, HDPE, and plastic pipes. Another company is Bioplast. Bioplast, they are called biodegradable because they can be destroyed, degraded, or metabolized by natural organisms such as bacteria. So this company is dedicated to develop plastic bags for all types of industry, commercial bags for transport or advertising. I think that these companies, for example, are really important too because plastics is one of the biggest problem we have, not only here but around the world, I think. And this it's better using bags that are made from, how do you say, bolsas de tela. I don't know how to say.
Yeah, at the end, we're going to say that. And
Okay, so it's better to use another material that is not plastic. But if you are going to use plastic, it's better that these are biodegradable. Ecolof is another company. They produce high quality biodegradable and compostable backpacks. 100% plastic free and eco-friendly alternative. Compostable, I mean, it also, like I said before, it's better to use another materials like glass that you don't have to wear plastic. But if you are going to wear plastic, try that this plastic is biodegradable or compostable. Compostable means that you can include this material in in organic waste, because if is the other way, you have to put, if the material is not biodegradable or compostable, you have to put the plastic in other kind of waste. But if you use this kind of bags or backpacking, you can include them in the organic waste, and it won't take as long as plastic takes to degrade. So that was a presentation about some of ideas or alternatives that we have in Bolivia, that we have in Bolivia, and we can take advantage of them to help the environment. So take into account how the products or services we use generate an impact, and let's support people with innovative ideas. There is like a magazine where you can see los negocios verdes, products or services that are pro-environment, and you can, in this magazine, you can see where you can recycle your waste, organic waste, batteries, electric waste, paper, plastics, if you want to leave them then, so they can be recycled to other companies. That's it, Jose Luis.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So I'm stopping this again. Yeah, we're very close to the 10 minutes, right? It was 9 minutes and 9 seconds. It was good. Now, as always, well, this time I had the chance of writing this the way I always do it. So I'm copying and pasting the information in the chat, and you're going to see some not only corrections, but also the questions that you were asking, right, in the presentation. So I think it was, again, something really, really interesting, I have to say, very educational, in the sense that this is not only some kind of information that you're giving us. I didn't know that we had all those things here in Bolivia, all right? It's something surprising for me, at least. Perhaps your partners had knowledge about that, but to me, it's something like very surprising, and in a really good way, right? In a really good way, that we have all those things here already. Perhaps they don't receive the support that they should receive, and these are the only things that we have so far, and we should have these like into our society, right? The way we create things, we make things. But little by little is very positive to see that this is getting into our culture as well, and see those let's say ideas, those creative ideas, is really, really interesting. I have to say that to begin with. Then continuing with the feedback in the chat, you have some words. Yeah, as you can see, not many. I think you structured your ideas very well, and when you were mentioning something about your opinion on some things, you were able to again use the words in a really good way, right, in the correct way. So related to pronunciation, most of them, the first one is going to be sustainability, right? Sustainability, like there's not going to be like a sound of the T after that. Then the other one is going to be like pioneer, then this is pioneering, all right? Pioneering is going to be like I. Then you were talking about fuel, right? But you can make reference to a very specific kind of fuel, that is the fossil fuel. Then you said something that this is only to increase vocabulary. The next one, you said mercury is bad, right, for people, but it's better if you say that it's harmful, right? It's harmful because it damages people, right? So mercury is harmful for people. Then well, you were saying, right, another company, and that's great. But one of the times that you said that, you only said another is. But let's not say that. Is better if you say another one, right? Another one or a different one is. That's going to be a better option. The other one is going to be biodegradable, all right, biodegradable. And the material, and the verb also, I didn't write it here, is degrade, right? Degrade. So something can be degraded or degrades. And then you have this material. Silk is not, it's similar to what you were wanted to say, but it's not the one. The two that you can use there, Andrea, are cloth, all right, cloth bags or fabric bags, all right, that's the material itself. Silk is similar, but it's a different material that is not tela. And I think that will be it. All right. Again, the only thing, a little bit more, perhaps it was really interesting that you were able to give us some advice at the end and even gave us some information, right? We can check some magazine. That's a really interesting way of concluding something because you are like wrapping that up, right? With that information. That was great. Perhaps expand a little bit more the next time. Remember, the next presentation is going to be the last one with 10 minutes. And the final one, which is on February 1st, it has to be like 15 minutes. But that time is going to be like obligatory to be the 15. If it's a little bit less, it's going to affect your score. If it's a little bit more, it's going to affect your score. Of course, you're going to have like a threshold that is going to be like 10 seconds, right? Less or 10 seconds more, that's acceptable. But less, more than 10, say, 20 seconds, sorry, more or less, it is going to affect the score. Not happening here, but that's the only thing that I would advise in terms of organizing and preparing the things you have to present, Andrea, but everything else seems to be all right. So I don't know if you have any questions yourself, please, Andrea, comments or questions, or if any of you, please, again, Annelise, Jaime, Maria Elena, Valentina, if you can ask some questions to Andrea, please. Even Viviana, if you want again. You know, at least two questions.
I have
please.
one.
Go ahead, please.
I have a doubt. Andrea, you told me your career is environmental. Am I right?
Yes, environmental engineering, yes.
Okay, so my question is that do you have any subject on the school, like at the university, related with these, I don't know, alternative um, ways of reuse or recycle the things? I don't know if I have that question. I'm not sure if you had or not.
Well, we have different, like, for example, renewable energy is one. Then we have our agroecology that then we have how to do compost or bio, I don't know how
Okay,
to say it in English, but yes, do
Biodegradable?
some things with
Okay.
organic waste. Yes.
excellent. I was curious about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you have different subjects in which you learned about these ways of recycling, right? Reusing materials, and that's interesting. I think that's really important, not only for this career or profession, right? I think that many other careers have to adapt these ideas and this knowledge because this is what governments are looking for now. This is what society is looking for now. And one more question, please, that I would like you to have from anyone, please. Annelise, Maria Elena, Valentina, Viviana. One more, please. Come on, don't be shy. Just one more. So I'm going to pick one. All right. So I had Jaime that time. Viviana already participated. It could be Maria Elena. What about you? We were talking about things, right, that we can do to, well, the things that are being done, right, from some people that are reusing, recycling, doing things that are very important for the environment, right, and things that are being done in Bolivia that, again, I'm saying again, I'm surprised. I didn't know that. Do you have any questions related to that, Maria Elena? Something that you would like to ask Andrea related to the topics she chose? Anything, please. Are you there, Maria Elena? All right. If not, I'm going to ask please one more time too. It could be Annelise. What about you? Any question related to Andrea's presentation?
I am thinking.
All right, go ahead.
Which are the material that they use for do these products?
All right.
The base material.
For all the products that she mentioned,
Sorry, I didn't hear it well.
one more time, please, Annelise.
Which are the material that they do for these products?
It depends of the product, but generally what the products that I show are reducing waste for and recycling these materials.
All right. Mainly, which are the ones, perhaps to add to Annelise's question, right? Which are the ones that they want to avoid using? I mean, they are reusing some material, right? For example, you were talking about rubber. That's one of the things that they are reusing again. But some other things that they are doing is to avoid the use of something. For example, the cars, right? What are the things that they want to avoid people to use by making those type of cars, Andrea?
For electric cars, use fossil fuel to reduce the use of fossil fuel.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. So I think we have everything with that. All right. Thank you to all of you. Now we're going to go back again. We don't have that much, this 15 minutes, but it's going to be more than enough to finish what I was showing you. Remember again, all right, this is to let you know, you have your scores, you have your feedback, and all of you had feedback, right? These words that I'm writing in the chat, take them into account. All right, for example, pioneering. Perhaps I'm going to be asking some question related to this word, or in the case of Valentina, right, it's going to be the word that is determine, right, determine, or some other things related to stress that I was telling you, to all of you. So I'm going to expect that you are going to be practicing these words. Remember also, if you forgot some of the corrections that I made, you have access to all classes, right? Go to YouTube, and if you have the links in the group, but besides that, in the group as well, as a description of the group, you have the link of the channel. All right, I think that Annelise, right, you subscribe to that channel, and that's good. If you go there, you have immediate access to the channel of this course. You of course can go directly there and look for the class. The classes are numbered from 1 to 12. So look for the class, all right, look for the class. And of course, you have to look for the exact time. You are going to remember, right? I have my presentation after 20 minutes. So look and try to listen again to the corrections, all right? In that way, be sure of how you have to pronounce these words. Okay, I'm going to be taking that into account as well. I write down everything. I have also everything registered. So if I get to ask you something related to the things I corrected, I'm going to be expecting, right, that you are going to pronounce the word in the correct way or use the correct word in that specific context. Okay, with that being said, we're going to continue and finish with this in these 15 minutes. That is related to these pronunciation rules, and specifically here, I've seen that some of you, at least I would say that more than the 50% of you, are having some problems with the stress, right? Where to stress the words, right? Is it going to be objectives or objectives, right? Is it going to be conflict? Conflict. I think you remember that. So let's remember this by reading this explanation. Where to stress the word. Valentina, please, let's start reading the one syllable explanation that we have there.
One syllable. Stress the first and only syllable. Examples: dog, cat, day, rain, etc.
Thank you very much. Simple, right? Of course, this is obvious, but it's going to see the difference with the rest of the examples. Now let's read only the explanation, please. Annelise, only the explanation of two syllables.
Me, teacher?
Yes, yes, please, Annelise. Two syllables until the period that you find. Only the explanation.
Stress the first or second syllable, generally two-syllable nouns. Adjectives and adverbs stress the first syllable, while two-syllable verbs stress the second syllable.
Thank you very much. Until that part. If you remember, this is what I was telling you last time. Remember what was conflict and what was conflict, right? We have the same things here. Very, very similar. So let's understand by reading some of the words. And you're going to tell me the first words, what they are. Are there adjectives, right? Verbs? Let's try to analyze that. Andrea, let's continue with you. First syllable examples, please.
Okay. Happy, little, and running.
Thank you. Those are, right, first syllable examples. So the stress is going to be in the first part, right? Happy, little, running. Very simple. Everybody understands that. The second part, please, the second set of examples. Viviana, please.
Second syllable examples. Record, combine, and insist.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, you have different examples. If you read the explanation one more time, you're going to understand why this is stressed in the first part, happy, but this is not record, right? This is record. This is combine, right? And insist. No, insist is insist. Again, you may know this because you know this empirically, but it's important that you understand the explanation, because when you have new words that you never heard before or that you never said before, then you're going to be in trouble. It's better if you know at least a little bit of these rules that I'm mentioning here. Now we have a little bit more complex, right, rules. So let's continue. I don't know if Maria Elena, you are there already.
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Okay, let's read please the explanation for three syllables and the first red point that you got there.
Okay, three syllables. Stress can be on the first, second, and third syllable, depending on how the word ends. Stress the first syllable on the word ending with E. Sorry, teacher, wait me a second.
It's okay, Maria Elena.
Okay, and word ending with ear, like ball player or narrator. Lie, frequently, or yay, like library. I don't know if it's right. Okay, the second one?
No, just until that part. We're going to analyze this part first, Maria Elena. Thank you very much. So, again, three syllables. These ones were supposed to be stressed, remember, in the first syllable, right? So you only made one little mistake there, Maria Elena. It wouldn't be like frequently, right? It has to be in the first syllable, so it's going to be frequently, right? So ball player, narrator, right? Narrator, frequently, library, all right? So first syllable when you have those endings. Let's go to the second red point, please. I think, Jaime, let's read the second one, please. This one, stress the second.
You're talking to me, sorry, I couldn't hear very well.
Yes, Jaime. Let's read the second red point. This one. Stress the second syllable, and let's
Okay.
read the examples, please.
Okay. Stress the second syllable. Sorry. Stress the second syllable on words ending with ion. Reception. Reception. Sion. It. Ik. Strategic. Or all. Potential.
Thank you very much. So you have different rules here, right? You have different endings, and you know that here the second syllable has to be, right, stressed, reception, right, potential, right, expansion. You have those things. Viviana, let's go with the third red point, please. Stress the third.
Stress the third syllable on words ending with EE. Refer.
This has to be in the third syllable, so it has to be referee, right? Referee.
Referee. Referee. Pioneer.
Mhm.
Legalize.
Mhm.
Vinagrate.
Vin-
That's it's difficult.
This one, the last syllable. Remember that syllables sometimes in English are more than the ones that we have in Spanish, right? So this is going to be referee, pioneer, and that is the last one. So legalize, and that it is going to be like the last one. So it's going to be vinagrate. All right,
Legalize.
exactly. Thank you very much, Viviana. So yes, and of course, as you can see, these are not common words. So don't worry, you're not going to have that many words that are going to end with this. Remember, also one word that I forgot that correction. One of you, I don't remember if it was Valentina or Andrea, in your presentation, you mentioned refugio, right? So that's going to be refugee, right? A refugee. If you're talking about someone there, right? If it's related to a person. So please remember these rules. Again, if you are doubting on how to pronounce new words, you can use this document and find the right way of pronouncing that. All right, find the right way of doing it. And now this is the last one, 4 syllables. Let's read this one, please. Andrea, 4 syllables, the explanation.
Okay. Stress can be on the second or third syllable depending on how the word ends. Stress the second syllable on words ending with T. Transparency, T. Fraternity, P. Philosophy, G. Geology, or political.
Thank you very much. Until that part, Andrea. Great. So second syllable on words ending in those, right, syllables. And of course, you have to be careful of the pronunciation. The way Andrea did it was right? Transparency, fraternity, philosophy, geology, and political, right? Political. Remember again, be careful with this. Don't divide the words the same way you do in Spanish, right? Sometimes big words are only 1 syllable in English, right? That's Sion, for instance, right? And let's read the last one, please. Let's go back to you. Let's see. Oh, yes, Annalise is not here. No, it's here. Yes, Annalise. Let's read the last one, please. The last point.
Okay. Stress the third syllable on words ending with shon, constitution, sion, apprehension, ik, supersonic.
Thank you very much. And there you go. All right. So again, try to use this. Try to practice at least the words that you have here as examples. And you're going to see that little by little, of course, it's going to be automatic. And I know that right now we're doing that on automatic, right? That's a self thing that we do, and that's positive. But again, try to apply these 2 words that you haven't heard before or that you haven't said before. And that's going to be it. Now, the last thing, we have these 3 minutes. Put this into practice again. Remember, this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to be evaluating next week, just for you to know, as I think they told me this Friday is going to be like this holiday. What we're going to do is that the presentation that we had for Monday is going to be on Wednesday. All right. So it's going to be on Wednesday. Then the next Friday is going to be one last explanation and one last thing to show you the structure of the final presentation. And with that, you're going to have everything to prepare for the following week to that one. That is going to be the last presentation. But for the next one, which is going to be on Wednesday, so remember, the third oral presentation is going to be next Wednesday, and the final presentation is going to be on Monday. It means the following Monday, which is February the 1st. All right, take that into account, please. The parameters are the same in terms of time, but of course here I'm going to be evaluating this. And one thing that I'm going to teach you on Monday, but I want to show you very briefly what that's going to be about. But this is the one, organizing oral presentations. I prepared this for you, that this is the TOEFL way of preparing something, because we're going to follow the same parameters that you use when you are giving answers in the tasks for the speaking section in the TOEFL international test. And it's really interesting. We're going to practice with you in class. You're going to see how. But you have to be there because I'm going to teach you step by step. For example, this is what you need to have in your introduction. We're going to practice this a lot in class with very short answers. All right, it's important that you are on the next class that is going to be on Monday, the class. Tomorrow the conversation is normal, but in class we're going to practice a lot. You're going to be recording yourselves the way we've been doing it with the last practices, and you're going to apply this in answers that are less than 1 minute answers. But that's going to help you a lot, not only with your fluency, but with memorizing the structure. So you can see an introduction has these parts. All right, here are like sentences, but of course in your presentation, your 10-minute or 15-minute presentation is going to be longer, and not only one sentence, perhaps many sentences. But you have a question that is going to show the decision, and think of that, please. This is why I'm showing you this. This presentation is going to be a little bit different. All right, I hope you're listening. You have to ask yourself one question. All right, showing you two options. Okay, for example, Andrea, you are into environmental field. You can ask yourself, what kind of energy is it the best? Is it the wind energy, right, or eolic energy, or is it the water energy? And why? And your presentation is going to be you choosing only one option and defending that choice. All right, by showing supporting ideas, by showing evidence that this one is better than the last one. All right, in your case, for example, Annelise, that you are constant with beer, and the same. Which one perhaps, I don't know, right? I don't know anything about beer, so I'm making this up. Which one is better in terms of the flavor and why? Which one is better in terms of the production and why? Put yourself two options and only choose one, and your presentation is going to be around that idea that you chose and making the contrast with the other idea that you didn't. Okay, so that's going to be, as you can see, the introduction is telling benefits of your choice. Then the step 2 is that you have to describe those benefits. In the exercises we're going to do are going to be very short, but in the presentations you have to talk about many benefits, give examples, give facts, and many things to show that the choice that you made is the best one. All right, and the last one, which is the conclusion, is going to be to summarize and to restate the idea, very similar to what we did in writing, and showing again why that option was the best as a conclusion. All right, again, don't worry, this is something I'm showing you only for you to know, so that you can also be preparing the presentation for Wednesday. But on Monday we're going to see this in detail. Okay, but please be preparing everything. That's going to be all for this class. As always, please, if you have any questions or something, let me know. If not, you have the survey, as always, with one extra question that is like the midterm survey, satisfaction survey. Please fill that out. And if you don't have any more questions or comments, that's it. And we can leave the class.
Teacher, sorry, I can compare artisanal beer with industrial beer? For
Yes,
example.
you can do it. And you have to show why the one of the options is the best or why you're comparing that. And you have to contrast both choices in your presentation.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're very welcome.
Thank
So,
you,
again-
teacher. Can sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Have a good night. And again, if you have questions, let me know. If not, that's it for today. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
The presentation will be on Wednesday, right?
Bye-bye. Yes, that's correct. On Wednesday.
Okay, teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
Jose Luis.
Bye-bye. See you.